People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in and supporting me each and every time. Now, tomorrow, in fact, first and foremost, I apologise for the late sort of preview of this game, but tomorrow it's Olympiacos versus Arsenal. We travel to Greece in the Europa League. I don't need to tell you what's happened domestically in Arsenal's campaign. I don't need to tell you why the Europa League is of obvious importance to Arsenal, depending on if you like, even if you like the competition or not, because you know Europa League throws up a lot of debates and talking points. It's a competition Arsenal need to take seriously. For Arteta, obviously he's Arsenal manager and everything Arsenal related, but for him it's his first season as a manager. It's his first, I believe, game, to my knowledge, I'm pretty sure, his first game managing a European competition. And obviously that's, you know, it's a landmark of his. And like the FA Cup, we're still in that. We've got a tough game away to Portsmouth. When that comes, this is a chance not only for Arsenal to get in the Champions League and have a positive, if you can say, for our season on a whole, for what it does for us, whether that's attracting players, but also I even forgot my point, rambling now. But also obviously the point of it's his first chance for him to win a trophy in his own managerial career. Obviously that monkey on the back, like, it's a bit irrelevant, but Pochettino's a quality manager, and deservedly so. He's being courted allegedly by a lot of clubs, the latest Man United. But some people will always say you ain't won a trophy sort of thing as a way to get at him. Now, moving away from Pochettino, he's irrelevant. Arteta is no idiot. He knows this is a big task. Obviously, if it was a game on FIFA or whatever, Football Manager, which I play, Arsenal probably win. Saying that, it would be crazy. But football matches are not won in video games. They're not won on paper. Olympiacos is a tough side. This is a tough game. When you think of football at its base level and all the positive emotions that come with supporting a team, you can go to few places and have a better footballing experience in a stadium than go to Greece, much less the Greek champions. I ain't got the stats to hand, but the last time they lost, just by looking on Google of their results, people, I can't tell you the last time they lost, people. I think they come into this game actually winning 4-0 as well. Like I said, the atmosphere is the key thing. Mavropanos isn't here, but I'm sure he can lend a word or two. We've got Socrates in the team. It's a big reason. I believe he should start. We'll get on to that. But there's a big enough reason for him to want to win and put in a good performance. But if they're in any doubt, the atmosphere. Now, we've seen our young lads especially go to Frankfurt and play well. So those young ones that are involved, I'm in two minds, admittedly, between playing Saka and resting Saka, people. Admittedly, I'm not going to lie to you, but if he plays, he's shown he can cope with it. But it's the atmosphere. It's about the 12th man, and Olympiacos are going to come with that. Let's not make out they can't play football. People can say it's the Greek league and all these sort of things, but when was the last time they lost? I was looking at Google, I was trying to find it. I even got lost, and I thought, let me just make this vid. The last time they lost, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they gave a good account of themselves in the Champions League. They played Spurs, and obviously they're not in the competition anymore and have dropped down, but they played quite well against Spurs. Forgive me if I'm wrong, was it Bayern Munich or Leipzig or one of these teams? I can't remember who they played, but they played another big team. It was Bayern Munich in the same group as Spurs. Yeah, they were. Canabri ripped them. Football moves so fast, people. They played decent away to them as well. So they're a decent side. They lost their main man, is it Pondance? He's bust out to from Olympiacos to Wolves, if I remember rightly, in January. But they're still a decent side. Looking at their couple of players, again, I don't know these players, but we've been linked with Timiskas previously, and their centre-half Bar. If they play, obviously, they're two players we want to look at, because it's a rare chance for our supporters to see some of these men that we're linked with, because we ain't got access to Greek league and them things, unless you're Greek. Big up the Greek supporters of DG and obviously Arsenal. Moving away from that, obviously, I saw on their books they've got Wonder Kid or ex-Wonder Kid, Emre Moore, who's been around the block. They've got Valbuena, who's got 6 goals. He's very experienced, and I believe he's just signed a 1-year deal, so he must be in decent form for them as well. They've got 22-year-old Mandy Kamara, who's been linked with Sheffield United, and the one of interest to me is they've got 33-year-old El Arabi. Now, he's someone we've got to look at because he's an experienced striker in their 4-4-2 formation, allegedly. And obviously, when I don't know man religiously, but I'm sure he done all right in the Champions League himself. And just by looking at his age and his statistics, people, he's got 17 goals, 6 assists in 23 games. Not bad for a 33-year-old. When I hear 33, for me, it's like a Glenn Murray thing. It's like you're thinking experienced, street smart. He might not be the quickest, but he's very smart around the block. Any lapse in concentration, positionally, tactically by the team, he can exploit. And he sounds like one of them, man. They could not be in the game for 81 minutes. Ball comes over the top. Do you see what I'm saying? I swear, did they get rid of away goals? I'm pretty sure they haven't, people, such as my interest in Europa League, but I'm pretty sure away goals is a thing. We owe ourselves to go out there, score a few away goals, if possible, put this game to bed in the first leg and just do a professional job in the second. What we cannot do is give Olympiacos some hope going into the second leg at the Emirates, people. Let's kill this tie, and I'm sure Arteta's made them completely aware of the need to do that. It's a tough one. It's obviously the first of 2 games in a week for us. Obviously, we've got Everton on a Sunday. We need to get 2 W's for morale, if anything, man. Obviously, we ain't turned no corner because we're playing all right under Arteta and he's doing his coaching thing. But saying we've turned the corner is rich. We won at Newcastle. Let's try and get some W's on the map and get some momentum going into, allegedly, if 5th place is still up for grabs. Europa League is something. And prior to 5th place becoming a thing, people, with City stuff, Arteta still said while he realised that getting top 4 was almost impossible, he's not prepared to concede it. So going on that logic, we've got to put a run together and they've got to try and do the impossible. Whether I don't believe we can do it, but my opinion's irrelevant. What it's about believing in Arteta's team and Arteta believing in the players. So we need to see what we can do, man. We need to kill this game off. It's gonna be a tough game. Like I said, they're in good form. We need to be first and foremost concentrated. Game management needs to be spot on. Take our chances, people. Try and do what we did in the second half against Newcastle in the Premier League from the start. In relation to our players, Mesut Ozil is missing out because it's come to life that his wife, maybe even by the time I make this video, is expected to give birth to their child. Obviously, congratulations to his wife and Mesut Ozil. And at this moment in time, I'm unaware if they're actually born. We hope it's a smooth birth and there's no complications and everybody's all right after this, because bringing a life in, there's few things better than football. Bringing another life into this world and having a daughter or son. I ain't got one. That could be a slight advertisement to the Barbies out there if you want to get some of these, but I'm going to get myself in issues saying that. But on a serious note, obviously our thoughts are with them and we hope it's positive, and congratulations in short. Torreira's ill. Apparently, if he's over his illness, he'll fly to the game and he'd be someone I was looking to play this game, because he didn't play at the weekend. Well, he didn't start at the weekend, but it is what it is if he's not involved. Guendouzi, we've heard in the press, and we'll get on to it, Arteta's kind of evasive and not answering the questions directly. This is why you should always make sure everything's set up, but he wasn't answering the questions directly in relation to Guendouzi, but Guendouzi's travelled. I mean, if he starts, he starts. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Kolasinac is fit again. It could be an opportunity to give him minutes. Big talking point is obviously Marie has travelled. He got 45 minutes against Chelsea, under 23s. Whether that was with this game in mind, whether it's because Arteta's kind of alluded to since he's come on top of, not really, because Flamingo was on a bit of a break. He's had a couple niggles, so it might just be 45 minutes was all they were going to give you, sort of thing. So I don't know, but you'd imagine if there'll be no point of him travelling and being available for selection in some capacity if he couldn't go the distance. Again, I don't know that to be true beyond just a football fan. But I'm torn because we do need to rotate, but I'm taking Olympiacos incredibly seriously, people. Don't get it twisted. I do think we could have, no disrespect, and I don't want them to make me look silly, but we should be able to rotate a couple of players and still get a result. But again, football matches are not won on paper. So I'm a bit torn, admittedly, people. Personally, I know Martinez would start, but I'll go with Leno in goal, because for me, going to Greece, you know, the sort of atmosphere you're expecting, the sort of atmosphere it could potentially be. I personally believe you have half a chance if you've got some stability at the back and you're able to weather the storm. If your defence is nervous, I'm not saying Martinez is going to be nervous, but I just think Leno's momentum's been good. Leno's the better keeper in short, and whatnot. So I believe Leno. And last time Martinez played, his distribution was a bit appalling. Again, I'm not trying to be critical of the man, but if his distribution is poor and it gives encouragement to Olympiacos, to attack us and stuff, on top of their fans getting behind them, is something to think about, people. So I'm going with Leno. Do you know what? I would go with Bellerin, but I think Bellerin can come out the side. I'd play with Maitland-Niles. I don't think Bellerin had the best of games against Newcastle, admittedly, but it's gone. I'd go with Maitland-Niles. I'd go with Socrates. I'm pretty sure Mustafi has travelled. There is the case to actually just go with Socrates and Mustafi, because I want Marie to start. I want to see Marie start. I think he looked good in the 23s. He looked fairly decent, but if I'm, by my own logic, if I'm trying to take this as seriously as possible, and for me, the one thing that scares me is the atmosphere. No disrespect to the players, because we've spoken about them. You kind of want to, it's not really the time, is it, to experiment with centre-half partnerships. Now, I don't know what man them are doing in training and things like that. And at the end of the day, I have confidence in Maria and give him encouragement because he's our player. But is it the game to experiment? Is it a game where you just go with Mustafi and Socrates? Must admit, obviously, you're looking at Holding. If he has Holding travelled, I'm sure he did. Another one who got 45 minutes against Olympiacos, against Chelsea. Was that with Olympiacos in mind? Only Arsenal could tell you. I don't know if Arteta will go with Holding and Marie, but I'm not too sure if he'll go with that. Technically, they've played 45 minutes together, so they're the most, at this current time, beyond training and whatnot, Marie and him are the most experienced, so who knows? There's obviously every case to play Luiz, but a part of me does feel Luiz is playing every minute. We can afford to take these players out of the side to a fair degree. So there's every case to just go with the first choice defence that Arteta could potentially go with, but I'm rambling, so I'm going with Leno, Maitland-Niles, Socrates. My logic, my brain is telling me Mustafi, people. My heart is telling me Marie, so I'm going to listen to my heart. I'm going to go with Socrates and Marie. Obviously, Socrates is a Greek national. I'd be worried if anybody knew more than him about the opposition and knew what sort of lions den we're stepping into. And obviously Socrates, to a degree, he's hard done by because he was playing decent. He lost his place not because of injury, but he's found it hard to get a look in. So he's got every reason to want to play well. Saka, for me, he picks himself and Saka can play, but I'm trying to, and it is an important game, so I want to take it seriously, and I think Saka should start really, but a part of me, and I'm not physio people, he's playing every game as an 18-year-old. Obviously, you're fit and cool, but we kind of need to protect these guys. And I think Kolasinac, he's had a little niggle. He was on the bench, I'm sure, against Newcastle, but he never played. If I can even remember correctly, because football is moving so fast. It's a chance to give him minutes and keep Saka fresh, and even move. He could even move Saka into left wing and whatnot. But I'll go with Kolasinac/Saka. I'm going to go with Kolasinac for fitness purposes. Midfield is where it gets tricky because Guendouzi, obviously, count yourself lucky if Arteta includes you and whatnot after what he's been saying, kind of thing. But you know what, Ceballos has been deprived of football, so I'm actually going to go with Ceballos and Xhaka. Xhaka should potentially get rested, but it's an important game, and Xhaka is central to everything we're doing under Arteta. So yeah, man, I think I'm going to go with Xhaka. If Torreira's fit and Torreira comes, then I'll probably take Xhaka out the side and go with Torreira. But I'm going to go with Xhaka and Ceballos. Hopefully they can continue that partnership they had in the league against Newcastle in this game. In midfield, well, in the Camero, there's no Mesut Ozil. I guess Arteta could go with a flat midfield, but I'm going to go with Joe Willock. As the front options, I'm going to go with Lacazette. Hopefully he's got his first goal and he's first goal under Arteta and he's back to business. So I'm going to go with Lacazette. On the left wing, I'm going with Martinelli, bring him back into the fold. On the right wing, I'm going to go with Reiss Nelson. Obviously, he's coming back from injury. It's a perfect character on the play well. You're seeing what Martinelli's been doing, seeing what Saka's doing. Come and show Arsenal fans what you're on now, sort of thing. It's not a competition thing. Like, you don't have to we support all of them, but come and show that you can help us as well. And I like Nelson, man, so I'd play Nelson. But there's every reason for Aubameyang and Pepe to play. We're at that tricky time now. Only Arteta knows for fitness and all of these sort of things, people. So I don't know what he's prepared to go with, but it is what it is in that regards. Finally, I just wanted to wrap it up by, he's been... Socrates and Arteta have obviously offered some thoughts in relation to the pre-game, so I thought I'd bring it and just speak about it quickly. But Socrates said, let me go back, people, I've got to go all the way. He said, "This is quite big for me. We've been preparing in the best possible way for this fixture, and of course our mind is set on winning. In relation to the atmosphere," he said, we've had these sort of discussions with my teammates. They know everything, how hot and how intense the how tense the atmosphere in the stadium will be. What is for certain is that we are so proud to play against a top Greek club. What this means is that we're going to play against a club who for 90 minutes will have their minds focused on winning. We know what we know this means that this fixture is going to be really, really difficult and tough. Arteta's offered some thoughts, people, and he said, for obviously it's his first game as manager, he said, well, it's another big competition for us. The club The run that the club has been through in this competition and last year as well makes it really important for the objectives that we have for the season. And we know the type of game we are expecting tomorrow. Papa has made us even more aware of that. So if we had any doubts, we have to be ready. So like I said, people, it doesn't take me. I have no connection to being Greek and things like that. I've simply looked on Google and done what I've kind of made a little preview, and I can see the risks. So the players with all the video analysis and the many coaching staff, and obviously Socrates' 2 pence, and obviously the managers, they have to be under no illusion what to expect over Olympiacos. I hope we sit here and we say, boy, maybe we were overhyping them, but football isn't working like that, and you cannot underestimate them. If you underestimate any side just because Arsenal play in the Prem and they're Olympiacos, and we're probably we are a bigger brand worldwide, a bigger football club worldwide, you will be in for a rude awakening, because it sounds stupid. A game of football is just 22 men or women or whatever kicking a football around and trying to score more goals than the other for 90 minutes. That's all that is. That's as stupid as it sounds. That's all a game of football is, people. So we need to turn up. Obviously, he was asked a couple things, and he has said we have to go game by game. Every year, every competition is completely different. You play different opponents, so you compare with what you did last year with this year. The context is different, but the objective is still the same. A club like us has to try to win every competition that we are involved in. That's the mindset that we are playing this game and this competition with. Obviously, he said, I'm really excited. It's my first game managing in Europe. I've been watching them a lot, and they're a team that are so used to dominating domestically, and the style of play that they have, they feel really comfortable with that type of game. When you travel to Europe, the type of games are completely different to the Premier League, and we have to adapt. The things that really got me, and the things I'll just wrap it up with, people. Well, firstly, he said, I would say that collectively it's a team that seems very alive. They have a clear idea of what they want to do on the pitch. They don't really play in relation to their opponent. They have clear principles of how they want to play, and they try to execute them against any opponent. In relation to Guendouzi, he has said, first and foremost, he said, I just make my team selection, and the squad is selected in regards to how they play, how they train, and how they behave. Every week it will be different. One week it will be one reason, another week it will be another reason. When further pressed on Guendouzi's absence, if it was a disciplinary measure, people, he said, it's about the way we train, the way we play, the way we live. I want the best players for the game, and I select them in relation to what I see on a daily basis. So, I mean, again, he's gonna be careful to steal his player, but he could have said no. He's left it depends how you interpret that, because for me that doesn't say that Guendouzi was moving mad, but it says potentially he doesn't believe he's either applying himself as good as he can, he feels the other players are at a different level to Guendouzi, or he wants to see a bit more, whether that's he believes he's training within himself and not pushing him, or he's not happy potentially with what he's just seeing from a tactical point of view when Guendouzi has played and when he has trained. Who knows? But he could have said no. He's left that an air of doubt. And if I was Guendouzi, that would give me a positive kick. Not in that I'm not necessarily going to hear that, but that would... It's not digging him out, but I would think, all right, cool, I'm going to apply myself. I want to stop being rubbed out and my name in these sort of things. I want to be going back to what I was when I was getting called up to the French side, or talk of that sort of stuff when that was happening. I want to get known for good stuff. I don't want to be involved in this sort of thing. And then if he does start, because I do think there is a good opportunity he starts, you know, you've got to repay the manager's faith, because clearly there's been something, and because of how he's been coming on, you shouldn't really be playing if that's what. And I'm sure that's not me. I'm sure some coaching staff feel he shouldn't be playing. And if they believe that and Arteta replays him, similar to Mustafi and a couple other players, different means, you've got to repay the manager's faith, and you've got to fix up if you want to get back in the side and playing in the Prem and stop sulking and fix up. But in relation to the game against Olympiacos, people, that's all I've got in relation to the preview. Like I said, I apologise for it being late, but it is what it is. Hopefully we get a victory tomorrow. Hopefully we get 2 W's this week. I will see you guys, and I've been seeing a lot of you lot at the Emirates. I'm back at the Emirates on Sunday against Everton. So hopefully it's a win in Greece. But for now, people, DG, I'm out. Thank you for watching, tuning in and supporting the team. I'm out.